Hey everybody, it's Jason from the Texas Gun Vault, and once again it is Sunday, and that means it's time for the Texas Gun Vault Poll Question of the Week, a weekly vlog that I produce where I ask you guys as my viewers and subscribers about something about firearms, firearms culture, news and current events. It depends on what week it is and what's going on. Well, this week's question deals with your preferences on where you enjoy shooting and why. So let's dive right in to the question of the week. I received a lot of questions this week about shooting ranges from various people asking me for recommendations for different types of venues. Being where I live, I am limited due to area and time, so I typically use an indoor range with a membership. I also understand that other people are in different situations and prefer certain types of ranges. So this week's question asks you about your range preferences and where you like to shoot. We all have different tastes for what we want our personal shooting experience to be. What type of range do you prefer to shoot at or belong to, and why? So as I mentioned here, I got bombarded this week with a lot of questions about ranges. Where do I go and shoot? Why do I like shooting there? Why don't I shoot at this place? Hey, I'm moving to the DFW area. What ranges are you a member of? And I even had another friend contact me and say, hey, I need a sight in my rifles. Do you have any recommendations for long distance ranges? And so I thought that I would create this poll because I know that when it comes to our experiences in the gun culture, often where we are located and situationally in our lives, this can affect our experiences. So for example, here in Texas, we have no restrictions on the types of guns that we can own. We don't have to worry about assault weapons bans. And if you want to go through the NFA paperwork, you can have short-barreled shotguns, short-barreled rifles, suppressors, and machine guns. Other states, unfortunately, are not as lucky. For example, if you live in California, New Jersey, or New York. And sometimes I can tell the commenters in my videos can sometimes seem a little salty. They're like, boy, that's nice, but I can't have that here, so I don't really care. And I understand their frustration, but I always tell people you are in control of your own destiny. Now, I respect people's choices to live anywhere in the country that they want, and I fight for overturning these terrible gun laws in places like California. But people like that choose to live there. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but some things are beyond my control. And so if you live in a place that you don't like something about, you have the freedom of mobility. And here in Texas, we're always looking for more Second Amendment loving patriots. So come on down. But for me, I'm kind of plagued by a situational event, and that is I live in a very suburban area. I live in a town called Frisco, which for a while was the largest growing city in the United States. It's a suburb very far north of Dallas, and it has really grown up and developed over the past 10 years. And this really limits where I can go. Because it is so built up, there are no very close outdoor ranges. So a lot of times I'm stuck with indoor ranges. And the availability of public land for me to go shoot is not very available. So I am kind of stuck going to an indoor range. People always ask me, why don't I go to this range or that range or go outside? It's because I can't. And then some people like to rub it in my face and say, I can just walk out my door and just shoot guns off my patio. And I think that is absolutely fantastic, especially if you own all of this land. And that's one of the reasons why I try to be understanding of people that live behind enemy lines, because they cannot always enjoy the types of guns I can. Well, sometimes I feel the people that live way out in the country and have lots of land kind of look down on people like myself because I have to go to an indoor range. I work all the time. I say this a lot, but I literally work sometimes 12 or 13 hours a day. So when it comes to shooting my range reports, it's a very short window of time, many times at night. I can't go an hour away to an outdoor range or go 2 hours away to get to some public land. It has to be something quick and easy. And so I'm a member of a place called the Frisco Gun Club. It's kind of a country club where we have like VIP dining facilities, and I also have, most importantly, 24-hour biometric access. And this allows me to go and shoot at 9, 10 o'clock at night when nobody else is there or around my personal schedule. It just makes it convenient, and that's just the situation that I am in and forced to be in. Now, I also prefer indoor ranges for a number of reasons. I find them to be very controlled environments, both from a safety standpoint and from a climate control standpoint. Here in Texas, in the summer especially, it can get really, really hot. And the downside of that is shooting outside is not pleasurable when it is hot and muggy, and you're talking about 104-degree temperatures. That's just not going to work for me. I like to be in a climate-controlled situation. Yeah, I lose the fact that I can't go and shoot at long distances, but for the type of shooting that I like with pistols and subguns, it works just fine. But let's see what you guys have to say when it comes to your shooting preferences. With 784 votes, we have a Country Club, elite membership only with social perks, 3%. Indoor range, climate-controlled and convenient, 10%. Outdoor range, longer distance ranges and more shooting options, 28%. Private public land, quiet, relaxing, and free, 57%. And something else, explain in the comments below, 2%. Now, the results of this poll really did not surprise me at all. I mean, who doesn't want to go out to the wide open land and go shoot guns and you are just free to do what you want? That is American freedom, American gun culture, and American liberty right there. But as I said, not all of us have that ability. So we have here at the first a Country Club, elite membership only with social perks. I can tell you that some people that I am friends with, this is the type of club that they want to be a member of. The gun culture is not just about shooting guns. It's about collecting. It's about being around other people that share your interests. This is the type of club that I'm a member of, and I really enjoy it. We have a private Facebook group. Sometimes we'll talk about certain issues, what's going on in the gun world, from gun culture and gun news. And just to have people that are on my same kind of level and same type of interest is something that is really good for me. I really enjoy it. I also enjoy the other perks such as the VIP dining lounge. Now, I know this is not the type of range for everyone. Now, I'm not really that much of a social person, but when it comes to the activities that I love and enjoy, such as music and firearms, I love the camaraderie that I can have with other people that are like myself. And so this is what I would have voted for, obviously being in the minority, but it's something that I love. Then we have indoor range, climate controlled, and convenient. Now, I actually thought this one was going to get a lot more votes than it did, because I know that most people probably use an indoor range, especially if you're living in city environments. It's just convenient. You know, you have a couple hours, you're going to go down to the local gun store and range, go fire off a couple of boxes of ammunition, get in your car, go grab some lunch, and go home. It's super easy. And I actually thought this was going to get more votes. It only surprised me it only got 10%. For me, I've always enjoyed the indoor ranges. You can adjust the targets electronically. You don't have to go out. You don't have to worry about the rain or worry about the temperature. Then we have outdoor range, long distance ranges, and more shooting options. Now, when it comes to outdoor ranges, the thing I really like about them is your options. I like shotguns. I like shotguns a lot. I like the different types of ammunition that you can use in shotguns. However, at the indoor ranges, many times shotguns are not allowed. And yes, there are indoor ranges where they are. And sometimes if they're allowed, you're only allowed to shoot certain types of ammunition. So for example, at my range, I can use shotgun, but only slug. Well, what if I want to shoot birdshot or shoot buckshot? I can't do it there. Some other indoor ranges allow for tactical shooting, so you can use buckshot and slugs, but not birdshot, and so forth. But if you go to an outdoor range, you can use whatever you like. Well, most of the time. It just kind of depends. But most of the time when it comes to outdoor ranges, I think their biggest advantage is you have more options. Especially you can go out there and use targets that will blow up. So for example, like water jugs and things. It just depends on your range rules and where it's located. Then we have private public land, quiet, relaxing, and free. Now, this is, I think, the optimum for a lot of people. I understand why I got 57% of the votes. And I can tell you, if this was the option that I had available to me, I would definitely vote for this as well. The best shooting experiences I've ever had have been when it's just myself and my close friends or family who are with me. We're out in the woods and we're just enjoying our time together, taking our time, not having to worry about other people, and you're just out in nature. It is so much fun. But as I said, I don't have that option. If I need to make a range report, I can't drive 2 hours to the nearest public land. In fact, I've actually looked online. I can't find access to public land anywhere near here. There's a lot of land here in Texas, but a lot of it is privately owned. You just can't go out into the middle of nowhere and shoot. I'm always envious of those other YouTube channels where they can go out into the middle of the desert. I used to live in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I fell in love with the high desert, and I wish I could go out to the middle of nowhere out there in the desert and go shooting like many of those channels. And then finally, we have something else explained in the comments section below. And so, as I said, the results of this poll did not surprise me at all, and I understand why people like to go out to the private land or have their own private ranges. It's just probably the best way to shoot, and I'm very jealous if you have that opportunity. But let's dive right into this week's top-rated comments and see what you guys have to say. With the top-rated comment of the week, we have Jim Farrow, who says, I prefer an outdoor range with other options, but convenience and location makes indoor ranges my normal choices. And right there, he encapsulates my opinion perfectly. That's it. I want to go to an outdoor range. If the climate is nice, it gives me more options, but I got to go to an indoor range. It's just more convenient. Then we have Robert Knight, who says, it wasn't until I started watching your channel that I even knew they had VIP ranges. I think that's awesome. I prefer any and all as long as I get to have fun and do what I want. Well, there you go. I'm kind of the same way too. I'm cool shooting anywhere. I'm not really a snob when it comes to where I'm shooting. It's just a convenience thing. Then we have Homer Pimpson, who says, just going to ranges in general kind of sucks. You have to pay to shoot, plus having some range officer breathe down your back, making sure you only shoot 1 round per second is a buzzkill. But unfortunately, most of the time, that is my only option. I need a ranch. Well, you and me both. You know, it really kind of depends on the range you're going to. Some ranges will have range safety officers everywhere, some will not. I've actually found that the outdoor ranges are the ones with more safety officers. But I will tell you, while sometimes they can be annoying, often I'm very glad that they're there, especially if you have novice shooters or people that have no idea what they're doing. I'm sure glad those range safety officers are there in keeping order and making sure everything is done in a safe and orderly manner. Then we have Ducati749, who says, I worked at an indoor range for several years. I used to enjoy shooting indoors, but after working at one, I only enjoy outdoor training. The outdoor training is also the way to go when it comes to having to be around guns a whole bunch, because when you're outside, you don't have to worry about the compression and the concussion of all of the rounds. That's the downside too about indoor ranges, is especially if someone's shooting something really powerful, you can feel it. But outdoor, that can dissipate. It's a little bit quieter as well if you're not shooting suppressed. And then finally, we have Gary D, who says, it really depends on the individual establishment. I've been to a lot of outdoor ranges with typical FUD RSOs who flip out if your cyclic rate is a round every 2 seconds. And I've had that at 1 or 2 indoor ranges as well. Also depends on ammo limits. Living in the desert, the indoor range is usually more lenient on ammo than the outdoor range. My usual go-to is outdoor, non-restricted land, from around October to April when the fire risk is low, and indoor range the rest of the year, using the outdoor range mostly for sighting in. Yeah, and so once again, I think he encapsulates my point as well. I like to have all the different options. I really do prefer outside, but I will go inside just for the convenience and especially if it's hot. As for the RSO thing, I also understand what he means. Sometimes the RSOs can be a little bit finicky when it comes to how much they want to enforce. I understand you don't want somebody that doesn't know what they're doing going out there and just rapid firing as much as they can and handling guns improperly. It's one of those love-hate things. I'm glad that they're there because they're keeping everybody safe. And while I'm shooting, I don't have to worry about people that are 3 or 4 lanes down because I know that there's people there watching out for me. But I hate it especially if I go, hey, I'm going to present from a holster and I want to have a double tap just like it would be in a defensive shooting. They're going to get on your case. So it's one of those things you got to take or leave. And if you don't like it, you got to find another place. And sometimes that's not always an option. So there you go. That is the Texas Gun Vault poll question of the week. What type of shooting experience and range do you prefer. I appreciate you guys always voting, commenting, and liking other people's comments. It means the world to me. I love these interactions. If you would like to participate in next week's poll, please go to the community tab of my YouTube channel. I will also link to it in the description below. Go over there and see what I'm asking you guys about this week. Go and vote, comment, and like other people's comments so we can get the top rated comments of the week. So let's have a great discussion in those comments, and I'm curious to see what you guys think about the results. So as always, thanks for watching.